If you owned a truck loaded with grain at the peak of the harvest, what would be worth more? Waiting for hours in an urban line? Or unloading directly at a new terminal where the train and the ship work in perfect harmony? And what if, instead of exporting space with the city, the port expanded to where there is a back area, railway, and favorable tide? Porto Guará is a project designed exactly for this purpose, to operate as a multimodal complex outside the urban area, with dedicated berths, large yards, and an internal railway capable of loading and unloading on an industrial scale. In practice, this means more opportunities for agribusiness, more predictability for liquids and containers, and best of all, less bottleneck for the city. Still in the federal licensing phase, Guará aims to start the first phase, focusing on bulk and rail, and then expand to liquids and containers. Stay with us for the next few minutes and find out how this new port promises to change logistics in the South and redefine the way trains, trucks, and ships connect. Porto Guará is planned for Paranaguá, Paraná, in the Embu-Guaçu region, west of the organized port. The declared project area is about 200 hectares, approximately 2 kilometers long by 1.3 wide, with a back area planned for truck sorting, warehouses, and internal rail integration. In fact, that's exactly where the technical advantage is: rail all the way to the dock. The project includes 21 kilometers of internal railways with mixed gauge, which will connect to the Romo Estrada de Ferro 277 network and, in the future, to the Nova Ferroeste, increasing the share of rail transport for cargo to up to 70% within the terminal, which, let's be honest, is rare in Brazil. At full capacity, Porto Guará will be able to handle up to 37 million tons per year, including bulk solids, liquids, and containers with shared yards and hoppers, road and rail. So some questions arise. What motivated the investment in this scale? What problem will Porto Guará solve? And why can its location redefine the logistics future of southern Brazil? The answers to these questions are more surprising than they appear. The ports of Paranaguá and Antonina have been breaking consecutive records. In 2023, the system surpassed the incredible mark of 65 million tons. In 2024, it reached 66.77 million. And for 2025, the projection is for even more growth. Undeniably, this success has brought a new kind of challenge, with logistical management and more trucks on the Brazilian Highway 277. Short docking windows and competition for urban yards put pressure on operations and increase costs. Guará serves as a strategic addition to the organized port, planned outside the city to address unmet demand and boost Paraná's intermodal capacity. The project signed the adhesion contract as a private use terminal in 2022. It progressed in federal environmental licensing from 2024 to 2025, and plans phased implementation as licenses are issued. Here, the railway is the key player. The 21 kilometers of internal tracks with mixed gauge ensure compatibility with Rumo's Estrada de Ferro 277 and with the route of the future Nova Ferroeste, connecting the west-east corridor of Paraná, which is currently in the licensing phase, to the productive areas of Mato Grosso do Sul and Paraguay. The first phase is expected to handle around 20 million tons of agricultural bulk per year, receiving about 1,200 trucks and 800 railcars daily, scalable to 37 million tons per year at full capacity. But what does all this mean in practice? How does a project on paper begin, step by step, to become a port? Check out the current status below and find out what's already happening behind the scenes of this mega construction. In 2025, Porto Guará enters a decisive phase of technical analysis and preparation for expansion. The federal environmental licensing is in its final stage, with technical additions being evaluated by IBAMA after the conclusion of the public hearings. The main stages are expected to begin in 2026, as soon as the installation license is issued. Seen from above, the future construction site looks like a board under construction. Tractors leveling the ground, drones mapping the elevation, and engineering teams working on building information modeling models to integrate the railway quay and back area into a single digital system. Construction was planned in 3 phases, using a modular system completed layer by layer, enabling partial operation as the complex evolves. The first phase will form the backbone of the project, with berths dedicated to grains like soybeans and corn, road and rail hoppers, enclosed conveyors, and the internal railway trunk with mixed gauge, compatible with both the Rumo IF 277 and the future Nova Ferroeste. It will be designed to allow simultaneous road and rail unloading with fully enclosed conveyor belts to prevent dust dispersion and environmental contamination. During this stage, the focus will be on heavy civil infrastructure, earthworks, deep foundations, drainage, and the implementation of access roads. Detail: the earth moving is expected to exceed 5 million cubic meters using recycled materials and compaction control in successive layers. The internal roads will be paved with hot mix asphalt concrete, graded crushed stone base, and subgrade, reinforced with lime and cement. With the progress of the foundations and base infrastructure, the second phase begins, focused on liquid bulk and compatible chemical products. The conceptual design includes the construction of vertical cylindrical tanks with carbon steel walls and anti-corrosion protection, interconnected by underground pipelines, up to the quay, where automatic loading arms will allow direct transfer between ship and tank. This stage increases operational flexibility, ensuring that Porto Guará can operate continuously, even outside the harvest season, maintaining revenue and productivity. A distinguishing aspect here is the integrated environmental management. The project includes the installation of oily effluent treatment stations, containment basins, and real-time monitoring of water and air quality. Automatically sends data to IBAMA. In addition, the nearby mangrove areas will be isolated by buffer zones and controlled reforestation, with native species cataloged in partnership with universities from Paraná. The third and most technological phase will be the container phase, the point at which Porto Guará enters the era of logistics 4.0. This stage will include automated yards, gates with optical character recognition, electric rubber-tired gantry and ship-to-shore cranes, and integration with the Paranagua container Terminal de Containers de Paranagua through a segregated logistics lane. The management systems will use predictive digital modeling, simulating the flow of trucks, trains, and ships in real time to optimize queues, berthings, and vessel dwell times. With this, the terminal will be able to operate 24 hours a day, reducing bottlenecks and providing predictability to global export chains. In total, 21 kilometers of internal railways will cross Porto Guará, connecting yards, hoppers, and berths with millimeter precision. These tracks are expected to feed the future Nova Ferroeste, ensuring that up to 70% of the cargo uses the train as the primary mode for residual urban transport. The area will have segregated road access lanes, parking for sorting, and integrated electronic scales. At the dock, 7 berths are planned, size for ships like the Panamax and Neo-Panamax, equipped with high-capacity ship loaders and enclosed conveyors for clean and quiet operation. The yards will be prepared to support large cranes and forklifts, with reinforced pavement made of high-performance concrete. When the machines finally enter the field, Porto Guará will symbolize a new cycle in Brazilian infrastructure, the meeting point between logistics, technology, and a vision for the future. Porto Guará represents one of the largest private port investments in Brazil, with an estimated $3.6 billion for the 3 phases of implementation. To give you an idea, this amount is equivalent to building 560 fully equipped public schools or 230 medium-sized regional hospitals. Now, if we convert it to a more common scenario in our daily lives, the budget planned for Guará would be enough to buy more than 74,000 economy cars. Engineering scale. The investment nearly matches the combined total of two major sector projects. The Port of Itapúa expansion in Santa Catarina and Pichem complex modernization in Guará are each estimated at $1.5 billion. With 37 million tons projected per year, the complex will have a capacity equivalent to half of the Port of Santos in solid bulk and 3 times the current volume handled by Antonina. More than competing, Guará Port adds to it. The network operates with an operational expansion of the southern port system, relieving Paraná and connecting the railway corridor to international export routes. It's a new private terminal standard featuring public logistics, high capacity, intermodality, and direct national efficiency impact. Porto Guará is set to become a key logistics hub in southern Brazil in the coming years. The forecast is that after the implementation phases are completed, the complex will handle nearly 40 million tons annually, reinforcing Paraná's role as a hub for integration between railways, highways, and coastal shipping. In addition to implementing docking windows and reducing urban lines, the terminal is expected to generate thousands of direct and indirect jobs, stimulating maintenance, storage, and regional transportation chains. By removing trucks from the urban area of Paraná, the project will also help reduce emissions, accidents, and logistics costs. In the long run, Guará is expected to become an essential part of the new Faroeste, connecting agribusiness from the Midwest to the Atlantic, and, of course, strengthen Brazil's role as a sustainable exporting power. In fact, Porto Guará doesn't promise miracles, it proposes a method. It's engineering applied to logistics, a planned back area, internal railway, and phased operation. A project designed to turn lines into flows and bottlenecks into productive opportunities. At the meeting point between train and ship, Brazil finds efficiency, and at the meeting point between technique and purpose, the true meaning of construction is born, making time and space work together. Thank you for watching this video up to this point. What did you think of this great project, with its magnificent proposal to connect the port and the railway as if they were one thing? Leave your opinion in the comments. I'll be happy to read them all. I'll stop here for now. A big hug, and see you in the next video.